I call the member for Forrest.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'm very pleased to stand here and talk about the $75 billion worth of infrastructure pipeline that this government has. And part of that I want to talk about is probably the one that I think is the most important, which is water projects. We all know that water in Australia is liquid gold, in my view, and it's what underpins so much of rural and regional Australia. And I look at the projects that the government has already committed to, over $570 million of capital funding from the fund and loan facility. I mean, the government is absolutely determined to tackle issues around water infrastructure. Every day we're getting on with the job of building water infrastructure that's going to take us to the 21st century. As I said, $580 million for the National Water Infrastructure Development Fund and $2 billion in the National Water Infrastructure Loan Facility. And this is really critical when you look in my patch at the lesser amount of rain that we've been receiving. And I look at one of the very important projects, the Mile Up Wellington project, which is really going to make a huge difference in my part of the world. And this project, this water project that this government is investing in, will actually prevent between 60 to 110,000 tonnes of salt from entering the Wellington Dam every year. And this is a great project. It's part of the pipeline of the government's projects ahead. And this will boost agriculture, horticulture and the forestry industry that is very much part of this. It will create local jobs without any question, and it will create economic uplift. It's going to attract even further investment in our region. That's what this investment by our government in water infrastructure is doing. And it will help to diversify the economy in my southwest. And the Wellington Dam is the second largest reservoir in Western Australia. And when you look at this project, Mr Deputy Speaker, the irrigation system that we have in the Darling Scarp is probably one of the most environmentally sound projects you will find. It's a gravity-fed system. And with the piping that's been done in the Harvey irrigation system, that has seen all of the channel losses disappear and all of the evaporation disappear, so much more effective, efficient and sustainable as a result. And this project is going to add to that in the Collie irrigation system, and it plans to actually pipe as well as desalinating the Wellington Dam to actually pipe the Collie River irrigation system that heads probably further south right down towards Waterloo. And again, we'll see efficiency gains both in channel losses and evaporation out of that, and a much better quality water because it will desalinate the water as well. This is what really builds small communities and regional communities right around Australia, and this project will be a key part of underpinning, the prosperity of the region and our small communities. Where does the water for our dairy farms come from? From this type of irrigation infrastructure. The water for our beef farms, those that are involved in fruit production and vegetable production, all throughout our marvellous southwest. And not only is it a quality water that comes out of our Stirling Dam closer to Harvey, once this project is completed and we see the desalination in the Wellington Dam, we're going to see that same opportunity. And the two lots of grasses, those that exist with the Stirling Dam and those that exist with the Wellington Dam, it's like at the moment comparing chalk and cheese. And we've lost a number of farmers because of the lack of production capacity because of the effect of the salt. So when we talk about real nation-building infrastructure, this is exactly what we're talking about and why the investment by this government is so important. These types of projects, as I said, will underpin these small rural and regional communities, but add to the economic growth, the productivity, the sustainability. There's nothing better than this. And when you actually go to wash a dairy yard, Mr Deputy Speaker, and you don't need to turn on a pump, because with the actual head on the water, because it's gravity-fed, if you turn the actual hose on fully, it could lift you off the ground. You know you've got a very effective and sustainable system. And that's exactly how this works. And I am particularly pleased that this government is investing in nation-building infrastructure like the critical water infrastructure that we see through the Mile Up Wellington project.